Hey everybody, and welcome to episode 36 of Estate Planning TV. I'm your host, Christopher Small. I'm the owner of CMS Law Firm, and this is the internet's most passionate show about estate planning. What's going on, everybody? Hope you're having a great day. I've already had an interesting day. I went and tried to pick up a car for a client, one of my probate clients. The car was not exactly in a great working order, so I basically got to take a trip around Seattle. So you make the best of what you can. You know, when you get lemons, you make lemonade. But today we're here, and I kind of wanted to switch gears a little bit. I wanted to talk, sort of, not necessarily get in the weeds more, but to just talk a little bit more specifically about some of the options that are out there, depending on your net worth. All right, and everyone, I believe, should have some form of estate planning out there. And today we're going to start with sort of lower net worth, and over the course of the next several weeks, we'll just work our way up, and we'll go all the way up and as high as I can think of to formulate a plan for everyone. Hopefully, you'll see one of the plans that works well. You can also, by the way, no matter what your net worth is, you can start at just these basic things, right? Because everybody should have these no matter what your net worth is. Just as your asset level increases, the things that you're going to want to think about are going to increase as well, because estate taxes are going to start to come into the mix, and what generational wealth may start coming into the mix from the perspective of, do you want to have your heirs, your beneficiaries, just be able to blow all your money if you want. And if you want to, that's okay. All right? I'm not here to judge. I'm here to inform and educate, counsel, help you get your goals met. All right, so today, though, we're going to talk about kind of what sort of the bare bones estate plan. Okay, so right now the title of this episode is Estate Planning or the 100K estate plan. All right, so this would be if your assets are $100,000 or less. And you could probably bump this up a little bit more if you want. If you don't have kids, you could probably bump it up a little bit more. If you do have kids, you'll start to want to think about probably the things I'm going to talk about in the next episode. But today, we're just talking about your bare bones estate plan. Okay, we're going to talk about what the elements of that are, why you might want each one of these things, and then how you can get them, basically. All right. So to start with, you're going to have 4, maybe 5 documents in this basic plan, depending on what's important to you. The first one is power of attorney. Okay, power of attorney covers. Estate planning just doesn't cover you if you're dead, right? It covers you if you are alive but unable to make decisions on your own. All right. Sometimes this is referred to as being incompetent, right? But we're going to skip the legal words. And you'll see I use examples. You'll see what I'm talking about. So this first one is power of attorney. Power of attorney is basically a document that puts someone in charge of your financial life if you are unable to make decisions. The classic example, the classic scenario where the power of attorney comes into play, there are 2 really. If you're younger, it would be a car accident. You're in a coma for 3 months, right? Who's going to pay your bills? Who's going to take care of your life? Who's going to deposit any checks that you have? Who's going to just do the things that need to be done for your life? If you are married, this is typically the spouse first, but you also want to think about that scenario where both of you are injured at the same time, right? Who is the person that can step in and sort of help manage your life? And there are short-term considerations here, and there are also long-term considerations. Imagine a car accident where you don't just have a 3-month coma and you recover, but you have a traumatic brain injury and you need help for a long time. This person is going to be able to provide that help for you for the long term. So the financial power of attorney, the person that you want to choose here, needs to be responsible, they need to be trustworthy, they need to know you. And this is important because if you don't have something like this in place, then the court, via an expensive, drawn-out process, is going to pick and appoint someone to do these things for you. And you are going to have to pay this person out of your own pocket. You're not going to get to pick who they are, and that's not good. right? Who wants to do that? So that's number one. Document number two is the medical power of attorney. Medical power of attorney kind of does the same thing, except it is related to medical decisions, right? Sometimes the person that you want to appoint to your financial power of attorney is going to be different from your medical power of attorney. This person is going to be able to help the doctors make decisions regarding your care. If there are 2 courses of treatment, they will be also in charge of making decisions related to end-of-life treatment. This person also, via this designation, will be able to access your health records, find out about your status, if you are injured, that kind of stuff, okay? So that's number 2. And a sort of a piggyback document with number 2 would be a HIPAA release, okay? If you have, let's say the perfect way to demonstrate what the HIPAA release does, many of you probably already know what it does, is let's say you have kids that are over 18, you would probably want them to give you a HIPAA release of some sort. Because let's say they're injured in an accident, you go to the hospital, the doctors are not supposed to tell you what's going on. Our medical privacy acts are very strong here, and those releases, those waivers will get you access, okay? So that's number 2. Number 3 is called the Healthcare Directive. All right, this is a document that tells the world how you want to be treated if you are essentially brain dead and not likely to come back. The question that this sheet answers, or this document answers for everyone, is: do you want to have the plug pulled or not? It eliminates any confusion about what your wishes are. It clearly states for everyone what you're supposed to do, and then it also tells the medical power of attorney that you've appointed how to take care of things if this situation arises. Right? It's an important document. Fourth, last but not least, is going to be your will. Everybody kind of, I think, knows what a will does. It names the person that's going to be the representative of your estate, right? The person in charge of gathering all of your debts, gathering all of your assets, paying off all of your debts, distributing all of your assets to your people. That's the one thing that they're going to do. The second thing that this does is, if you have kids, it's going to name your long-term guardians. All right. So if you die and your spouse dies, or the other parent dies, who is going to take care of the kids? This is named in your will. If it's named in your will, it's presumed to be that way, so it's kind of an important thing. It's kind of a big deal. You know what I'm saying? Kind of a big deal. If you don't have this information, and if you haven't designated a guardian, then a court will pick. And I think we can all think of someone who looks good on paper, but you would never want to have raise your kids. I can think of a couple of people. I'm not going to tell you who they are, because they might be watching this video, but don't worry about that, because you have your will and you have your guardians named, okay? And then the last thing that the will does is it names specifically where you want all of your stuff to go. This is critically important if you're in a long-term relationship but not married, or if you're single and you want your stuff to go somewhere other than your parents, basically. Will is important. Obviously, if you're married, it's also important. If you have kids, it's also important to just specifically outline where you want everything to go. And I forgot one thing, so let's circle back to the power of attorney real quick. What I work into my power of attorney is also a short-term guardian designation. So this is, let's say you are in that coma for 3 months. Who is the person that can take care of your kids and actually give them the care that they need, namely get them medical attention if they need it. Most places won't allow non-parents to take kids in for sort of a regular medical treatment. Flu's going around right now. If you had the flu, you wouldn't be able to see them probably. In an emergency situation they would, but otherwise they probably would be turned away. Power of attorney, this short-term power of guardianship nomination kind of takes care of all of that. All right, and then the fifth document that you may want to have that we include with our plans are disposition instructions, right? Burial instructions. Do you want to be buried or cremated? Do you have specific wishes with regard to how you're taken care of after you're gone? And who is the person that's going to be in charge of making those final decisions? That's what these disposition instructions do. All right, so if you are under, if your estate's under 100K, you're running what the basics are for estate planning, this is it. This is something that everybody should have, no matter how many assets you have, no matter what. Okay, because if something happens to you and you're in an accident, you're going to want to be taken care of, right? If something happens to you and you die, you're going to want your stuff to go where you want it to go, right? You're going to want your people taken care of. This is how you do it. All right, so that is it. If you have questions, email me, chris@cmslawfirm.com. Call me, 206-659-1512. Leave a comment. Write me a letter. Send a carrier pigeon. Hold a sign outside of my office. Whatever you want to do is fine. I will talk to you. All right, so I hope this information was helpful. I'll be back next week, and we'll talk about the next level up. All right, that's it. Thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you the next time. See ya.